Hello, and welcome back to Marketing Research Methods, Marketing 3502. Today we're going to talk about basic data analysis. Basic data analysis is a topic that, although we will cover in PowerPoint presentation slides today, please be sure to augment this information with reading your textbook as well. The nature of descriptive analysis. Descriptive analysis is the elementary transformation of raw data in a way that describes basic characteristics such as central tendency, distribution, and variability. Histogram is a graphical way of showing a frequency distribution in which the height of the bar corresponds to the observed frequency of the category. In the next slide or two, I'm going to provide an example of a histogram, and when you see it, I think you're going to realize that you've seen histograms many times before as you progress through your educational journey. If you take a look at Exhibit 14.1, Levels of Scale Management and Suggested Descriptive Analysis, you can see measurement level, nominal and ordinal, goes into the statistic at the frequency table proportion and ends in your example on the right, in which they're conducting a study of beer sales. You can see that beer sales occur in approximately 10% of drugstores, a very high percentage of convenience stores, secondly, grocery stores, and at the very, I'd say the most nominal amount is specialty stores. On the bottom left of this particular diagram, you have interval and ratio going into mean standard deviation, which results in the standard deviation example on the right. You've probably heard of a bell curve. Bell curve basically means that the majority of the numbers fall somewhere in the middle. Some will fall on the lower left, some on the lower right. And then there are some that are called outliers, which are like, you'd almost consider them flukes. They're just don't even fall into the normal categories. So let's say that you're studying what grades students get in a particular class. You could lay these out in standard deviation form, and odds are pretty good that you're going to see the majority of students in the A, B's, in the middle, and then the C's on the lower left and the lower right, and basically D's and F's would be considered, further out. Creating and interpreting tabulation. What is tabulation? Well, tabulation is the orderly arrangement of data in a table or other summary format showing the number of responses to each response category. Tallying is the term when the process is done by hand. You've heard of the phrase tallying your vote. That's usually when you count votes by hand. What is a frequency table? A frequency table is a table showing the different ways respondents answered a question, sometimes called a marginal tabulation. So in other words, how often did people answer in a particular way? What frequency? Let's take a look here. We're back to the beer sales example. Response. Basically the question is probably, where do you generally purchase your beer? Response. I purchase in a drugstore, a convenience store, grocery store, specialty, or other. The number of times people answer drugstore is 50. The number of times they answer convenience store is 225. 175 for grocery store, 35 for specialty, and 15 for other. You see the percentage on the second column, and then the cumulative percentage on the right column as well. Cross-tabulation. What is the purpose of cross-tabulation? Well, cross-tabulation actually addresses research questions involving relationships among multiple less-than interval variables. It results in a combined frequency table displaying one variable in rows and another variable in columns. What is a contingency table? It is a data matrix that displays the frequency of some combination of responses to multiple variables. What are marginals? Row and column totals in a contingency table, which are shown in its margins. If you look at Exhibit 14.2, you have cross-tabulation tables from a survey on ethics in America. They have reported behavior at the very top under A, percentage of general public who have ever done each activity. If you take a look, let's look for example, who has ever taken home work supplies? In the age group under 50 years of age, you have 50 individuals who stated that 50% of individuals who stated that they've actually taken home work supplies like staples, post-it notes, etc. Called in sick to work when not ill, it looks like you have a higher percentage of those under 50 years of age as opposed to those over 50 years of age. Not reported for men or women. And in the educational arena, it looks like actually the college graduates are the ones more likely to do that than the high school graduates. In section B of this chart, it says reported behavior. Once again, percentage who have ever done each activity. And then you have business executives versus the general public. Well, it looks like the business executives have a higher percentage of taking home work supplies, whereas the general public tends to call in sick when not ill. Used company telephone for personal long-distance call. Ooh, a high percentage of business executives have done that. Overstated deductions, somewhat, on tax forms. A higher percentage of business executives. Driven while drunk. Ooh, business executives had the highest number here as well, highest percentage. It says a fellow employee steals something at work and did not report it. If you saw someone do this, would you report it? Well, it looks like the general public would tend not to, whereas business executives would. And Exhibit 14.3, different ways of depicting the cross-tabulation of biological sex and target patronage. Cross-tabulation of questions. Do you shop at Target by sex of respondents? Men, higher percentage, it looks like, say yes. Women, higher, say yes as well, with a total of 450. If you look down, do you shop at Target by sex of respondents row percentage? And then you see percentage cross-tabulation of do you shop at Target sex of respondents column percentage. Cross-tabulation. Percentage cross-tabulations. The statistical base is the number of respondents or observations in a row or column used as a basis for computing percentages. Elaboration and refinement. Elaboration analysis is an analysis of the basic cross-tabulation for each level of the variable not previously considered, such as subgroups of the sample. Moderator variable, a third variable that changes the nature of the relationship between the original independent and dependent variables. Now let's take a look at Exhibit 14.4. And I hope you're starting to see how very interesting marketing research is, because you're trying to find out clearly who does what of your target demographics, of your target market, who does what type of behavior and when. You want to look at age, gender, marital status, income. It depends on what the product is or the service is that you're trying to promote. If you look at Exhibit 14.4, cross-tabulation of marital status, sex, and responses to the question, do you shop at Target? It looks like we have more men, single men, shopping at Target than more married men shopping at Target than single men. Because take a look, you see 86% for married men and 55% for single men. And in terms of women who are married or single, yes, 80% on both. Now, in terms of who does not shop at Target, you have 14% married and 45% single men that don't shop at Target, and 20% and 20% for women, whether they are married or not, they do not shop at Target. Doesn't this give you incredible information as you go forward in a marketing campaign? I believe it does. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed this PowerPoint presentation, and please keep in mind that the PowerPoint presentation is meant to be augmented or enhanced by your textbook ratings. Hope you enjoyed it, and I certainly hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.